So, this is a topic where I feel like a lot of people kind of deal with this issue, but at the same time, I've dealt with this issue um personally, right, with my artists, with my own work, with pretty much everything, right? So, I think the big thing here is realistically, I want to try to keep this simple. But what we're going to be talking about here this week is talking about ideas versus actually executing ideas. So, what do I mean by that? I mean, we've all been around people that are just like talkers, right? Whether you're a musician, you're a vocalist, you're an artist, you're a designer, you're a producer, you're an engineer, you're whatever, right? Um, I think um, we've all encountered this kind of person where they just love talking about ideas, right? They have these ideas, I want to do this, I want to do that. Nothing ever gets done, right? There's a lot of that kind of idea talk going around pretty often. I think that's a very common trait with a lot of people, and not just in music, right? I've definitely encountered this in gaming. I've definitely encountered this in content, and obviously music. There's been a couple of like experiences I've had with this where I feel like, man, like you just encounter these types of people all over the world. You really do, in just all facets of life. And they just talk about ideas but never want to execute them, right? They don't want to start them. They don't want to, kind of push themselves to be um, more consistent and things like that, right? I think talking about ideas is a dangerous rabbit hole that a lot of people go down, and that's not something I want to see anybody kind of go down, right? So look, like the thing with like talking about ideas is like ideas are always going to sound better in your head. So when it comes to ideas, you have this vision and you're like, okay, let's do it this way and da 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 da. And sometimes people try to do it and it doesn't really come out the way that they kind of planned on it, right? It doesn't really exactly like meet expectations. But I think that's what really kind of tears people down a little bit. Like it's definitely hard for them to like understand that their vision isn't always going to be perfect. Because you could have this $1 million idea, right? But you don't have a fucking $1 million. So it's like obviously you're gonna have to come to some kind of compromise eventually at some angle for some reason. You know what I mean? Because like it's really all about taking these ideas that you have now and executing them with the resources that you have now. You don't need to wait for resources. You don't need to wait for this. You don't need to wait for that. I think that's what stops a lot of people from taking like the idea route to the next step. Because like I said, you can cook up ideas all day, but it doesn't really mean shit. Like you could literally come up with this fire list of ideas, but if you don't start on at least one, if you don't at least kind of like start the movement a little bit or like put your foot forward, these ideas are just ideas. You know what I mean? So that's gonna be like a big thing for a lot of people to kind of get over. You know what I mean? And like sometimes like the trade off is like subpar content, right? Like sometimes the cover's not gonna be as good as you wanted, or the mix isn't gonna be as good as you wanted. But does that mean you should throw away the whole idea and you shouldn't do it, and then you shouldn't drop for like 4 months? That's the bro. Like, are we serious right now? You know what I mean? Like you can't do that. You can't let ideas die because of lack of resources or because of lack of motivation or this that, and the third. Um, you got to pick an idea and just try to execute it, right? And then like the other part of it is you can always learn from it. You know what I mean? You're always going to be learning from these ideas. So even if it isn't up to quality or like the vision that you kind of had, you can always do better next time. You know what I mean? Like you can always do better with the next idea, and you're going to learn. Oh, I need a little bit more money for that. Oh, if we do it this way. Oh, if we go here. Like it could be anything: music videos, covers, mixes, whatever, bro. Like it could be literally anything. But I think just executing these ideas needs to be more common instead of just talking about them, right? Um, Depends on what it is too. Like it's different for everybody. Like it's not really like a one size fits all shoe. I just do think that whole like idea rabbit hole and like kind of like gassing yourself up with ideas and then just never do anything with it is way too common. Like that is just way too fucking common. And again, like you see a lot of people get lost in that rabbit hole, and then you see a lot of people start like executing ideas, and then they get motivated by it, and then they start doing their ideas. You know what I mean? So it's it like if you start it, it motivates other people. You know what I mean? It motivates other people to do other shit. You know, like Music Mondays is very much like that, right? Like the staff kind of feeds off each other. Like if I'm doing content, then the staff gets motivated to do more content, and then so and so turns into piece, and then they get motivated to write. So it's one of those things as to where like you're doing a really good thing not only for yourself but for the people around you, right? As an artist, for your peers, all that stuff. You have a lot of like community members around you that can feed off of that in a good way. So I think that's just something to watch out for, right? I'm not going to harp on it because, like I said, everybody's different. Everybody kind of looks at shit differently, and ultimately, it's really all about what you want from this, right? If you not really like if you're not looking for a full time career, then you don't even need to be watching this video. But if you are, you know what I mean. That's just something to watch out for. Is it's just like going down that rabbit hole of idea hell, and you never end up like executing fucking anything. That kind of shit sucks. That's like it's trash. So yeah, again, let us know your thoughts about that. Let us know if you're kind of in idea hell, what you're gonna do to get out of that. This will definitely be on the Music Mondays channel. So definitely subscribe if you haven't already. We upload 2 times a week. We're on the way to 280. Like the vid, drop a comment, all that good jazz, and let's fucking get it, baby.